Hey guys, in this video I'll be showing you how to do a sole swap on these Air Max 1 Viotechs from 2003, and I'll be doing a swap with a Air Max 1 Bordeaux 2018. Hey, what's up guys? Here again with another video. I got these a few months ago, these Viotechs, Air Max 1 Viotechs, from a guy in Netherlands. And they're pretty old, they're 2003 models, or when they came out. One of my grail shoes that I've seen. I really like them. Love the colorway, the Viotech purple, and the gold stitching right here. It's a really clean shoe. But as all other Viotechs and all older Air Maxes, or any shoes for that matter, the soles start to crumble. I guess this is like a polyurethane blend of material right here. And I'm gonna do a sole swap. So the donors that I have are these Air Max 1 Bordeaux's. They have the purple air bubble right here. You can see that. And somewhat similar color midsole, which I probably will repaint just a little bit. And I'm gonna use the original outsole right here. So I got these off of I think eBay for like $70. I was gonna go with the Air Max Sweet 2015. They're going for about $150, $200. I wasn't comfortable spending that much money just to cut up, or just to do a sole swap on here. So what I'm gonna do, I've done some research online, a lot of videos. Shout out to John Manalo. Watch his videos, and I'm gonna probably do some acetone, or I might do the other method with boiling water. So I'll do that right now. So first step, go ahead and take these soles out. So these are 10.5s. This is a really cool shoe, cool suede. So move these to the side. Okay, so while we have the acetone sitting in the Bordeaux's, go ahead and take the soles off these. I got most of the sole off. That's pretty interesting. It's like old plaster kind of. And what I used was just some old sculpting tools that I had when I did sculpting back in college. And it's not sharp, so it won't cut into the material. So just kind of rub it through. Stuff right here. Release shoe, so it's gonna be pretty crumbly, as you can see. It's like old clay. See the old airbag. Just popped. Always see them in videos, but it's interesting to see it in actual person. Actually use your nail to get some of this off. Don't worry about I guess scraping the bottom of this because it's going to be on the new sole or under the new sole. I don't use anything too abrasive. If anything's too tough to get out, I might just use a Dremel just to take some of it out. But it's all about the preparation, just like when you do art. We're building. So for the rest, I'm gonna Dremel the rest off. Got this from Harbor Freight, like $9. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so just want to try to get everything off. I'm gonna take as much of the glue off as you can, so you have a surface to work with. All this glue on here. A lot of that glue is still left on there. The heat's melting it back. In this part here, the other shoe was quite easier as far as taking off the sole. I just used the heat gun. It came off pretty easily, as you can see here. Just added the heat at certain areas, massaged it off, and it came out with really no resistance, so that's pretty easy. Now that I got this other side cleaned it up, the way they assembled it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put this soap. I'll try this one this way because it worked on the other one. Sorry, had to consult some of the homies that did the swap already. This glue is really strong, so what I did was I got a bottle, filled it with acetone so I can drop it in, and so it actually, you could actually see it melting away the acetone, the glue in here. So what I do is just pour it in while I'm peeling back. I'll drop it in. Make sure you're in a ventilated room because I'm dying right now. But it just comes right off. So at least I can do one shoe. I already popped the air bubble on one, but you know, can't learn if you don't make mistakes. But that came off pretty easily. Yeah, so that's that one. Sole came out. This is crazy. This Bordeaux stain is just all over this. So I gotta match up this outsole here. These nipples here. You should keep one. A few. I'm sure where they go on the shoe, but doesn't really match up. Okay, yeah, that matches up. So I don't know where these nipples went on this shoe. So I have them anymore, so I'm just gonna cut these ones off. Guess that's the old style of so I'm gonna go ahead and clean this off right now with some cotton balls and some acetone. some old Thai writing right here, because the old Viotechs were made in Thailand. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I was getting frustrated a little bit earlier because it seemed like it didn't fit. But a homie Jan, I reached out to him because I know he did the swap before. I think his page is Kanatsky from Canada. He gave me some advice to line up the back first, and then, you know, from the back forward. So I'm just gonna clean this up a little bit more. Take all these hairs out. Now I'm gonna clean off the glue off the midsoles up here. You see where the Bordeaux's ink has stained the glue. So I'm gonna go ahead and take this Dremel and take as much of it as I can off. These new Bordeaux soles are a lot thinner. I'll show you guys right here. This is the original sole right here, and you see that they're taller. I don't know if you can see that on this side right here. So it sits high. This one, the donor one, sits a little bit low. So what I need to do, let me show you, illustrate this for you. You can see the gap right here where the glue line is. So I'm gonna go ahead and shave down this area right here to get that to fit flush. I was recommended by a friend to do that, so thanks for the help. I'll go ahead and do this. Okay, here I've been working on the left shoe, and I've shaved away a lot of this right here to get it to sink down. See, it's a little bit closer now. This is the left shoe, the other side's done, but I need to shave it down just a little bit more. So taped it down a little bit more, you can see there, and now it fits just right. Just gotta clean up the rest of the glue. So here's the taped up Viotech right here, ready to go. Last time, go ahead and put a coat of barges, let it cure for about an hour and a half. And now I'm gonna do the outsoles and the midsoles. Just let them cure for about the same time, an hour to 2 hours. Make sure when you work with Barge's Super Stick Cement that you're in a highly ventilated area. I was doing it inside at first, but then started getting dizzy. But yeah, don't make that mistake. If you can, go outside, set up, and get some good ventilation. Hey guys, go ahead and get start on this. So what I've learned to put on the outsole on the midsole was to glue the front to match up with this crosshair right here. There's a crosshair there, and then line up the back at the same time, and then heat up the front and then the back. I'm gonna go ahead and use clamps to make sure they stay in place. So I got these clamps here. Make sure this is lined up right. You don't want to rush this. So I got this clamp here that I bought at Harbor Freight for pretty cheap. And then heat up the middle. Maybe I might be overdoing it. So I put tape here on the side so that it'll match up. Do get it glued up. So worst case, I could just start over. The front's matched up. So I'm gonna go ahead and tape off these sides to keep it in place. In this shot here, I'm making sure all the tape and the outsole and midsole are lined up so that when I do heat it up, everything's in place and nothing's misaligned. Just take your time and make sure everything's good. So I got that glued together. So now we're gonna let this sit. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side here. So what I did was I taped up the front and the back to match up. And what I've realized that I haven't seen in other videos, that the sole will actually curve up if it doesn't. See here, it's the back is matched up in the front. So I thought it wouldn't match up. And when I put it flat, matched it up front, and I flattened it out, it would extend in the back. But I forgot to take into account that the shoe will flex or will curve up and glue. So that's the part, and I've had some friends who are restorers too that told me to glue the back and then the front and then do the middle. So I'm gonna do that. Go ahead and do that right now. Got the tips glued. I'm gonna let them sit for about 5-10 minutes. Make sure they're all matched up. It's never gonna be perfectly lined up. So let's let this sit for a little bit. Okay, so I've got that sitting right here in the front and the rear. So now I'm gonna go ahead and heat it up and massage them. Push this side in right here and glue it at the same time. Hey guys, so I have the Viotech here. I'm gonna go ahead and put the upper and the midsole together. I had let the glue cure. So I'm gonna go ahead and heat up the rear. So what I'm gonna do is heat up the rear first and let that sit and then connect the front. And shout out to Jan from Kanatsky, who did the swap before. He's really giving me some good advice. Alright, so let's do this. One thing that I suggest is that when you're doing these swaps is really do your research and take your time. Don't rush anything, especially if you're working on grails like these, which are grails to me. Take your time, do your measurements, measure twice, cut once. Got these clamps from Lowe's, and make sure you let these sit for a couple days or so. I let them sit for about 2 days to make sure they're stuck together. Okay, so I'm now here. I'm gonna clean this up real quick before I do the suede dye. So I went and got some antibacterial soap and a soft brush that I got from Daiso for like $1, and then a stiffer brush for the bottoms or the tougher areas. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean these. Got the soft bristle brush and the harder brush from Daiso. I think they're about like $1.99 each. If you're on a budget and you can't afford other premium brand cleaners, this is definitely alternative that you can do. They work just as fine and saves you lots of money. Hey guys, so now we have the shoe cleaned and washed, dry for the most part. So now we're gonna iron out the toe box that we have right here. So a couple creases. So I'm gonna take something like a shirt and make sure it's damp. Make sure you don't use anything like this that has texture, because when you iron it, it might leave an imprint of the pattern onto the leather. So I'm just gonna use something that's smooth like this. What I'm gonna head and do is take it over the toe box area, cover it like that. Make sure you keep your hand inside to keep the shape. Just iron it like this. A few passes should be enough. If it's bad, the creases are bad, then you want to make a few more. Now I'm back. I got these all dried and clean. But before I do the midsole paint, I'm gonna go ahead and dye, re-dye the suede. And I'm using Angelus suede dye, tobacco brown, from Sneakers ER. And let's see how this works. In this part, I took one of my brushes that I use for painting, and I made sure I soaked all of the leather, all the suede. Take your time, make sure you got everything. Make sure none of the suede gets onto any other parts of the shoe, just to make sure all the quality is there. And be careful on the suede or the swoosh, mini swoosh area. Take your time, make sure everything's covered, and should turn out really good. So I'm here with the Viotech, and we're going to go ahead and do a midsole repaint. The original midsole was this one right here. You see it's a different shade. So we have this already glued together with the midsole from the Air Max 1 Bordeaux, and I used the outsole, the original OG outsole. So it has the purple airbag. You can see there. You can see that. So I went ahead and ordered these paints. I'm gonna use sand and bone, and if I need to use beige taupe. So what we'll go ahead and do is prep the shoes. I'm going to tape off the uppers and then the outsole. That we got these shoes taped off, I used electric tape because it was more elastic and I could do it with one shot instead of doing hella different pieces. So I'm gonna go ahead and use acetone to clean these up. I should take off as much as the factory paint that I can. I'm also gonna cover up these holes right here. So when you're doing prep and taping off the areas, make sure you do everything right. Take your time. Make sure everything's covered, everything's taped off. Make sure none of the paint will get through, and it should turn out pretty nice at the end. But make sure you take your time. Okay, so I have sand and bone. I did about 75% bone and 25% sand to come up with the color closest as I can get to the original, which is right here. I did a whole trial and error on the old sole, and this is probably the closest I'll get it because this is also faded. I tried this side before with just brown and white, but I wasn't getting it. So we're gonna go ahead and paint up the soles, and in between I'm gonna spray the LK leather top coat concealer protectant. Okay, let's go ahead and paint these. these shoes sit overnight. Went ahead and painted them. About 4 coats, and in between I sprayed LK matte finish. I forgot what YouTuber I watched that he did this process, but it made sense to me to put those layers in between. So let's go ahead and do the unwrapping and taking off the tape. So went ahead and did a lace swap as well, purple and yellow. Like the pop on the colors. Shoe turned out pretty good. Pretty happy with the results. If you have any questions, let me know. And as always, thanks for tuning in.